episode 573 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast for you if you play Magic the Gathering, whether you currently have health insurance or you don't.
I knew it was coming. It was going to be a Meghan Life update, and here it is.
Go.
Oh, well, I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Meghan.
Meghan, why don't you talk about what's going on with you today?
Well, as you might have guessed from that, I am currently without health insurance.
Yikes.
Why? If only I could answer that question for you.
Unbelievable.
The answer is that I logged in to pay my premium at the beginning of January.
As you do.
And discovered that, in fact, I was not enrolled in my health insurance, despite having a letter from the end of last year saying, if you would like to continue your health insurance, here's your enrollment info, and just do nothing.
Unreal.
It has been a nightmare.
You've been on hold for a while before you got into the studio today.
There is... Okay.
Do you want to do the music for us?
Oh, I can't, the thing is that I'm going to make better music than what I was listening to because that
Sick
is
burn.
hold music. It's like do 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 do.
This sounds like a Mario level right now.
Wow, see, I'm doing it better,
You're doing it better.
justice than it deserves.
Wow, Nintendo, give us a call.
So anyways, if you work at Minsure, drop me a line.
Yeah, seriously. That's spooky stuff right there.
It is a nightmare.
This is what being an independent contractor, creator, freelance life person is
it's
like.
It's what it means.
That's part of it, unfortunately.
Yes.
But we can do it because of all of your support. And all of our support will once again get Meghan back into healthcare, hopefully before too long.
Fingers crossed, baby. Fingers crossed.
On today's show, we are not only mourning Meghan's loss of healthcare for a little while.
Thank you.
That's why I'm wearing black. But we're also going to talk about Ravnica Remastered.
Yes.
Which just comes out. We're recording this episode a little bit early, but it comes out on the 12th of January. So
tomorrow,
it will have,
when we're recording.
Yeah, it will have come out for you. And I hope you all take your chance and avail yourself of this fine set. We went and did a draft, and it was super fun. And we're going to tell you about our experience, kind of give you a little review of the format if you're going to buy a box, play with your friends, or head over to your LGS.
Yeah.
I've got my deck right here in this fabulous box.
I
want you all right now
in
your brains to guess my draft record based on the energy my box is giving off alone.
All right. Wow. Interesting.
Put it in the chat.
All right. What do you think?
Put it in the Discord. What do you think this deck is that's in here? Can you feel its aura? Anyway, we'll talk to you about that.
I'm trying to feel its aura, but I was there, so I'm cheating.
We got some packs for some wins. And we're going to crack them for you, see what's inside.
And we'll also just talk about the experience of being at an LGS draft again.
Yes.
Do you know what? I had such a freaking delightful time.
Wasn't it so fun?
It was so fun. It was so nice.
We went to Lodestone Coffee and Games. Shout out to Lodestone. They're a fantastic store if you're in the Minneapolis area. And everybody who plays there is just so nice.
They're so nice.
All the staff is so nice.
Everyone was so nice.
And it was pretty busy. And they said they've been selling these drafts really well, which made me very happy.
Which is very cool.
Yeah.
I played against so many lovely people. I talked to them. I talked to one player who just started with Lord of the Rings.
Oh, wow.
Last year, which
New
is very cool.
Alert. Cool.
Yeah. I talked to someone who we were talking about, like, who mostly drafts on Arena now.
Yep.
And we were talking about, like, current draft formats. And then, my last opponent was also just really lovely and nice.
I played somebody who was a Good Luck High Five listener and who had been a listener since back when we were Magic the Amateuring.
Whoa.
And told me they listened to us on a marathon, nothing but us and limited resources, from Minneapolis all the way to Albuquerque at a GP.
Wow.
So shout out to them. Thumbs up. Great listener.
What a drive.
I know, 15 hours.
Only 15? I feel like it would be longer.
I don't know.
I mean, they made that drive, so I'm not going to refute what actually happened to them.
So we're so happy that you listened to us and hopefully you kept your sanity on that drive to Albuquerque.
Also, if you are a new patron in the past week, we will catch up at the end of January with thank yous to all of our new patrons because, as we said, we are recording this a little bit early.
Yeah, so this episode, next episode are going to be patron list, pun list episodes. But when we get back after 3 weeks, we want to have a whole lot of puns to do on everybody who's a $5 tier or more.
The despair of a punless episode.
Yeah.
Whatever will you do?
That sounds like a New York Times best-selling title.
The
despair of a punless episode. Yeah, if you want to save us from such a fate when we return in 3 weeks, you can become a patron over on patreon.com/GLHF Magic. And guess what? We'd love to have you.
Yes, we would.
We just instituted a brand new Patreon tier system. Go over there, check it out. Brand new, fresh for 2024. And
you get puns starting at $5 a month.
$5 gets you a pun.
Wow. What a deal.
I mean, I would pay way more for a pun if I'm being honest with you.
Oh.
By the way, our listener RR, who had a great pun last episode, wrote in even to say that they really liked their pun.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm just like,
I'm so
that was
happy.
a really good pun.
Yeah.
You can have that same sort of pun experience $5 a month or more.
Or a different pun experience where your pun is bad.
Yeah, it could happen.
Just want to be honest with you.
Yeah, we
could go either way.
We don't know before it comes out of our mouths, quite honestly. But yes, you can become a patron. $2 is our tip jar level, gets you access to our awesome Discord server. $5 gets you early episode access, including our Commander episodes. $10 lets you influence what we do in those Commander episodes and gets you downloadable Good Luck High Five wallpaper.
Yes.
And my favorite tier is 20 or more, which gets you an extended length episode.
Wow.
Which we've been having a lot of fun with those
Yep.
so far. So I'm just delighted at making them for you. So thank you, everybody who's a producer or higher.
I just learned last secret episode.
Yeah.
I learned about a fear of Maria's that I didn't know about.
Yes. I have a couple irrational fears, and I talked about one of them.
Yep.
The answer may shock you.
New info for me.
But yeah, even if you start now, you can listen to the back catalog that we have too. So even if you're a later Patreon producer, you can go back and hear all of the extra stuff because it's on the ends of those episodes.
Nice.
Yeah, it unlocks for you like a little key, which is pretty cool. So check it out, patreon.com/GLHF Magic.
Thank you as well to our sponsor, Card Kingdom. cardkingdom.com/GLHF, the place to go if you're buying boosters, if you're buying boxes, if you're buying singles.
Absolutely.
You know, whatever it is that you're getting.
If you even want to sell some of your cards and turn it into store credit to make new cards.
Yes.
You don't need a magical machine that takes old cards that you don't want anymore and turns them into cards you actually want.
Card Kingdom is that magical machine.
It sounds like Susian, you know? Like the machine the Sneeches went in to get the stamps put on their belly or taken off. That's like what Card Kingdom does for you. And the star
don't.
belly is the card you want.
Yeah.
And then take, you see, anyway. this is devolving.
You know, Card Kingdom, the Susian Sneech machine. There you go. Another perfect tagline for Card Kingdom.
Oh, what a great tagline for Card Kingdom. Check them out. Get a box of Ravnica Remastered or whatever you want to play with your friends. Get yourself some shiny Commander singles. We're not the boss of you. You're the boss of you.
Oh man, Maria, do you want to have a brief anecdote about shiny Commander singles?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, this is
because you were here for this.
This is incredible.
We have a Commander game coming out at the end of the month.
Yep.
Where I play Narset Enlightened Master, and we talked about it some on Commander Court last episode.
Yep.
And once again, like not to spoil anything, but I just feel like I have to address this.
Okay.
Obviously, most Commander decks have Soul Ring in them.
Yeah.
Since we were playing with 4 players, we did all have Soul Rings in our deck. And way back in the day when Kaladesh first came out, I opened a Kaladesh Invention Soul Ring.
You sure did. I remember the moment.
Yes, exactly. It was at a hotel draft.
A hotel lobby draft.
Yep, exactly. During a Grand Prix.
Yep.
And, I opened it. And in my mind, I thought that I had sold it way back in the day, right? It was about $100 at the time.
Oh, in my mind, you still had it.
I see. In my mind, I had sold it, but it turns out that I had not. It was just in the back of my binder.
Yeah.
And so when I found my binder to get out some of the cards that I was using for this Narset deck, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny? Like, I should put this like $100 beautiful Invention Soul Ring in my deck.
Gorgeous.
Right? Because that's like not something that I do like some aesthetic stuff. Like I got the Pretty Quintorius, which we talked about.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is like outside of the realm of stuff that I would buy.
Right.
But I just happen to still have it. So I'm going to put it in this deck.
Put it in the deck.
And I play with it, and it's in the video.
It's in the video. You can see it.
It's beautiful.
It's like it's like if King Midas had made a magic card, that's what it would look like.
It's gorgeous. And last night when we were at Lodestone, we were like looking through some of their singles there,
Yes, as you do.
Yes, and there were like some cool older Soul Rings there, and there were some inventions, and I was like, you know what? just based on this, I am like curious.
They were like, $125.
Exactly, for some of these soul rings. And I was like, I wonder what mine actually is.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably still about around 100, which is what it was back in the day. Friends and listeners. It was not $100.
No, it sure wasn't.
It's not $100.
Meghan looked it up on her phone, turns to me and goes, how much do you think this is worth? And I'm like, I don't know. $200?
From the look on my face, you knew that it had appreciated to some extent.
So I said 200.
And I was like, absolutely not.
And I was like, what?
It's like,
and I was
no,
like,
it's not it.
300?
No, still not it.
And then I was like, well, okay, this seems impossible. 500?
No, Maria.
It was more.
It's like $700.
$700. So Meghan in our commander game is there shuffling.
To be clear, I riffle shuffled this deck.
This $700 card. Unknowingly.
Single sleeved. Run around doing whatever. So
it's a power move right there.
I just also wanted to acknowledge it before people watch that video and they're like, oh my God, is Meghan just like the biggest freaking, it's like a high roller with her commander deck over here, just like dunking on people with this card.
With the soul rings,
and
$700.
Just so you know, when I was playing that card, I was like, haha, isn't it funny? I put this $100 card that I happen to have in my deck. And then I was like, oh, I needed a deck box last night. And so like that deck is just sitting at home, it's sleeved, but it's like not even in a deck box. It's just like it's just sitting in my dining room.
Beautiful.
So I went home and I like looked at it, and you know what? Doesn't look any worse. It still looks pristine.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's only had one outing.
Exactly. One out ever.
And the draft we played,
which is like
probably
also
played with it in that unsleeved.
Like not to brag, maybe one of the most pristine invention soul rings out there, because like I said, I literally opened this card.
Yep.
Put it in my binder and forgot about it for 6 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just been in there and it's been in one commander game.
That's how you got to do it. Put it in the closet and forget about it. And then remember, 7 years later.
There you go. That's my story of.
So what are you gonna do with it now? Are you gonna keep it, or are you gonna sell it, or are you gonna put it in another deck?
Who knows? I don't know what to do with this kind of surprise wealth in my life.
Ring. Oh, sorry, somebody's calling me. Hello. Yeah. Oh, it's Post Malone. He called me on my notepad.
Called on your notepad.
Can you believe that? He's just so famous.
Yeah, he can call you on whatever.
He doesn't even need a phone to reach you.
Oh, Post Malone's ringing me on this booster pack. Hello?
It's time to get remastered with Ravnica.
All right, Maria, we're looking here at my draft deck from last night.
Yes.
Which is Simic.
Yep.
I have to say that, like, we talked about this. I really wanted to be Is It. My first two picks were like beautiful Is It cards. I had Homing Lightning.
Oh yeah.
And Gutter Snipe.
And
I was like, I'm ready to do this.
OG.
Like, let's go. And maybe like one of my first three was also like Compulsive Research.
Sure.
Was maybe 2, and then Gutter Snipe was 3 or whatever. But then it became obvious to me that my seat was not red.
Yeah.
It was definitely, and I did feel very good about this in one aspect, which is that I felt like I was reading my seat correctly.
Great.
I like wheeled a bunch of like green-blue cards again and again, which was very nice. I got this beautiful Shark to Crab. I just got some really nice late picks for this deck.
Well, this deck looks very nice laid out. It looks like it would be a very good deck.
Yeah.
Before I ask you how it did and some standout stuff for you, we went and played this. I was surprised how many people were at the event.
Yeah.
Which was a lot for a remastered set, which they technically tend to be like, smaller turnout events because they're not new cards, quote unquote. How was your experience coming into the store and sitting down and doing an IRL draft?
Oh, it was so great.
I mean, it's been a while.
I had so much fun.
Yeah, it was just wonderful. Like we mentioned before, lots of lovely people. Was it weird to be sitting there playing in pod again and not like on Arena or whatever?
I loved. Do you know what? It made me remember. Like I love pod play.
Yes.
Like it's just nicer.
Yes, it is. It's nicer. You can like keep cards in your head that you saw go around the table.
Exactly. There's like the power level of decks tend to be not so divergent.
Right.
Because you all kind of had access to the same power level. Like everyone at our table agreed that our table felt kind of weird.
Yeah.
All three people that I talked to were like, yeah, we had kind of a tough table.
Yeah.
Like there were some weird signals going around. There were some weird cards going around. It was a little bit hard to read.
And what was it like seeing these cards that you have played with in the past throughout our Ravnica lives?
I loved every single one of them. It made me so happy seeing Shark to Crab again.
Oh, Shark to Crab.
I love Shark to Crab. He's just the best.
So we started playing Magic in 2012 with Return to Ravnica.
Yes.
So Ravnica is our very first plane. Our first draft ever was Return to Ravnica. And a lot of those Return to Ravnica cards were in this Ravnica Remastered set.
Yep.
So we're seeing them again in a draft for the first time.
Cloudfin Raptor.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, friend.
That card's great.
Great card.
So talk to me about how you felt this deck performed.
So I ended up going 2-1.
Excellent.
With this. I will say that the 2 matches that I won were 2-0. Like very
decisive.
They were decisive games.
Yes.
I got my early flyers out. I had this Cloudfin Raptor Terramander Nightveil sprite.
Oh yeah, great cards.
And right, exactly. And I just kind of beat people down with invasive creatures. As you can see, I also have 2 Stilhana Ledgewalkers.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
This is 1 and a green for a 1/1 that has hexproof, and it can only be blocked by creatures with flying. So it's better flying because creatures with reach cannot block it.
Have you seen the Stilhana Ledgewalker, by the way? The one with the new old border.
Yes. It looks so good.
The retro frame.
Yeah.
Oh, she's beautiful.
It's great. And then
you have
so
2
I wasn't
Coiling Oracles too.
Oh, I love
It's a great card.
I mean, Coiling Oracle is again, let me tell you that I put it I cast it once and someone was like, I did whatever it said, and they were like, can I read that? Because it has this feeling of that can't be right. It's a common in this set.
It does that.
And I wield one of these.
You also have
which is what I'm saying about
classic border on that.
Yeah. Coiling Oracle is a green-blue for a 1/1, and it says when it enters the battlefield, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield. Not tapped.
Nope.
It says put it onto the battlefield. Period.
Put 1 land.
Otherwise, put that card into your hand.
Great.
And it's just it says draw a card or the best ramp available.
Absolutely.
Literally the best kind of ramp that you can have. Untapped. Absolutely absurd.
Go.
That card is busted.
And you've got kind of what I would describe as lower power level creatures on the whole, because you don't have a lot of heavy hitters at your top end, but you didn't really need that.
Yeah,
because you were kind of doing some boggle shenanigans with this Ledgewalker.
So I wheeled the first Ledgewalker, and so I was just like, do you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I picked up this Moldervine Cloak, which gives +3/+3 for 3.
Great.
I picked up, even better, this Wormweaver Coil. This is 4 green. Enchanted creature gets +6/+6. Right? And
yes.
Do you know what? That's multiple games. That's just what I did. I put
boggled.
this on a creature, and my opponent's like, yeah, I'm just going to die to that.
Can't
and do you know
touch
what?
this.
Then they did. I also had a forced adaptation, which is at the beginning of your upkeep, put a +1/+1 counter on enchanted creature.
Yeah.
So I just did the boggle thing.
You did the boggle
and it
thing.
was great. The match that I lost, I was telling Maria, my opponent basically just vomited two
drops
for 2.
Yeah.
And do you know, my deck, while excellent, if it does not come together, can in fact not beat 4 2/2s for 2.
Yeah.
It can't do it.
I mean, I think the point here that you've said now and looking at your deck is that once again, you have to be worried about aggressive starts in this format, and having good creatures at lower power levels and mana costs is important.
Yeah.
That's my observation from this one draft we did, which is not a large sample size, but whatever.
Yeah. I could have used just a little bit more interaction that would account for people having multiple bigger creatures on the board.
Yes, exactly.
Because I was trying to tempo them, and I just got do you know what? All those 2/2s just out-tempoed me because they had more power than my stuff.
There was a deck that I played in my my second round, excuse me. This person was playing a red-white deck. They had even switched over. They had previously been playing Is It? And they played a bunch of cards that make goblins, so a bunch of 1/1 creators. And then there's a card in the set called Dogpile, which deals damage to, I want to make sure it's not just a whatever. I didn't actually know this card first. It deals damage to any target, equal to the number of attacking creatures you control.
Wow.
It's 3 in a red. And so they were able to create a massive army of goblins and then just cast Dogpile to like finish me off.
Wow.
Dogpile to the face. And and also active trees and all that kind of stuff. So you've got to be careful in this format because the Dogpile deck is a real deck. I can attest to that.
All right.
Did you have any moments of nostalgia looking back and drafting and playing with these cards?
Oh my goodness. I mean, for one, just seeing the card Totally Lost, which you see I have a copy of here in my deck.
And I love the old border on
the
this.
old border on it.
It's really good.
This is an iconic instant from Return to Ravnica. Because it's homunculus, it has Fibblethip on it.
Iconic.
4 and a blue, instant, put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library. Right? And it's just like, oh, I like this card. It just like, I had that moment of being like, yes, I remember the first instance of Fibblethip.
Oh, this was Fibblethip's debut.
Yes. And so I think that was one of my favorite moments. I also saw, part of me wanted to be Celestia, which was like my original
guild.
Like Return to Ravnica guild. But I didn't see until much later in the draft. It wasn't until like pack 3 that I saw first Call of the Conclave, which is the real card that's like B in Celestia.
Good.
Which is green, white, sorcery, make a 3/3 centaur.
I mean,
it's good.
I saw 3 of them in my pod. So
if I had seen that,
maybe I should have been green.
But like
white.
seeing like that and Eyes in the Skies and some of the other populate cards, for me, Eyes in the Skies is like, that one makes a bird and then populates for 3 and a white. I loved it.
What a great set.
Seeing those, that for me was like some of the real moments of nostalgia, was seeing some of those like Celestia cards that I so identify with the first time that I played Magic back in the day.
Oh, what a cool experience.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience playing this set too. I was passed a Rootborn Defenses. Do you remember this card?
Do I ever?
2 and a white. So in Return to Ravnica, it was still common in Return to Ravnica. I was just checking. It's 2 and a white for an instant. Populate. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. And this card was really special to me because in one of my very first drafts I ever did, it was like I had a level up moment with it. I realized that I could create an additional blocker and eat their creature because my creatures were indestructible in combat. And I remember just thinking, oh my God, that can't be how this works. That's way too good. And then I did it and I was like, it was like my brain grew 3 sizes in that moment, understanding how combat tricks worked.
Arguably, that card was way too good.
Yes,
you're right. Do you know what? Good. You're right. It was way good.
Very, very good. So when I got past to it, I swear to God, I had a tear come into my eye. I was like, Rootborn Defenses.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, friend. I missed you. So that was the level that I was at last night. So I drafted a Gruul deck, everybody.
Oh.
Can you believe it? I did it. Featuring cards like Rhythm of the Wild.
I mean, this card, I remember this went around. I want to say this was like pick 4 or 5 I saw in my pod.
Yeah.
It can't have been that late. Otherwise, I think I would have taken it as a sign.
Sure.
But like I saw it and I was like, oh, this like Rhythm of the Wild. What a card. It's 1 red green for an enchantment. Creature spells you control can't be countered. Non-token creatures you control have Riot, which is they enter the battlefield with your choice of a +1/+1 counter or haste.
Right?
Just an absolute wrecking.
And like this is the kind of deck I was already drafting because I saw multiple copies of Sunder Shaman going around the table, which is a 5/5 for 4 mana.
Yep.
That only one thing can block it. And I'm like, wait a second, why are these going around? And so I shifted over into Gruul. I got a Rakdos Pit Dragon, which is a 3/3 flyer. I had 2 copies of Rampaging Rendhorn, which is the Riot 4/4, so it can be a 5/5 or a 4/4 with haste. And a lot of times I got a double Riot because of Rhythm of the Wild with this bad boy.
Riot.
There's my other Rendhorn. So 3 Sunder Shamans ended up in my deck.
Absolutely absurd.
Which is pretty wild.
Yeah.
I also drafted every single guild gate, it appeared. People at my table were like, where's all the gates? And I'm like, that's
Maria's
because
like,
I took so many of them. How many is that already? 4?
4.
Here's another Sunder Shaman. 5, 6,
Oh my goodness.
7 guild gates in my deck. So I splashed for Dreadbore and Putrefy, two excellent removal spells.
As you should. Very good.
Had a Homing Lightning as well, like you did. And then I have a Ralzeric that I also was able to splash for free because
Gorgeous.
of all of my guild gates. And he's the beautiful anime Ralzeric.
You literally have 5. You have Rakdos Guild Gate, like 5 kinds.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 7 total. 2 Rakdos, 2 Izzet, Golgari, Simic, Gruul.
Nice.
Very nice.
So I was like, yeah, here I am playing all of my gates, and I can just I don't have to splash in real life. I only splash in gate life. So I splashed for Ral, splashed for Dreadbore and Putrefy. I had a Golgari Signet as well to help me with that. But yeah, it was really fun. The thing I was missing was there was no gate payoffs. I didn't see. I don't know if they're in the set or not, and that made me a little bit sad because I feel like we're printing a big gate format, like let's do gates in it.
Yeah.
I mean, like let's play Gatebreaker Ram, okay? So I didn't see any gate payoffs if they existed. But the problem with this deck is, does everybody guess what its record is from its energy? So it's an 0-3 deck. I didn't win.
Wow, this does not look like an 0-3 deck.
Yeah, the problem is it was just too slow. My gates made it even slower than it would have been because they're coming into play tapped. And then my 2-drop creatures just were not enough to hold off other people who understood the assignment and played more beefy 2-drops.
Yeah.
And by the time I was able to cast my Sunder Shamans, well, maybe it was turn 5 because of my guild gates. Wow. It was just too late in the game to get back into it. So that was a little bit sad, but I had a great time playing it regardless. All of my opponents were excellent. And the deck, when it did come together, I didn't like lose every game.
Yeah.
Was very fun. Never got to cast Ral, though, gotta say.
Oh, I'm sorry. Look at that guy.
No Ral for me.
You know, that, like I said, that's surprising to me, but I did talk with 2 of my different opponents last night at this event about how much faster formats have gotten.
Yes.
And how much more I draft 2-drops than I used to.
Yeah.
Which is entirely taught by the most recent draft formats.
Were they like, oh yeah, you're right, they totally are?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they both agreed. And I was thinking about how back in the day, it kind of was like this rule of thumb where it's like, oh, you want like 7 or 8 creatures between 2 and 3. And it's like, now you need that many between like 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's shifted down for sure. It has. Interesting.
Which is, fascinating to me. And right, it's like, it's so wild to me that this deck is still too slow because you have Arboreal Grazer one, which is like a ramp card.
Yep.
And then you have between that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards that are 3 mana or less.
Yes.
And that's creatures. And then you also have like some other removal and stuff in there.
Yeah.
So it's not like you don't have stuff to do in the early game.
Yeah, really bizarre.
But it truly is, I think, a
Power of the
sign of
2-drop.
like, the way not only formats have shifted, but I think that like players like attitudes and perspectives on the draft formats.
Sure, and that can affect what happens in your pod.
Absolutely.
Everybody out there, if you have a chance to go and play this, I highly recommend it.
Oh, it was so much fun. It was a really good time.
I mean, we are huge fans of Ravnica, and we've got a Ravnican set coming up here in a hot minute, but it's not a guild set. So if you really want to draft a fun guild, if you're like, I love Rakdos, which is me, I would love to draft a Rakdos deck. Somebody was dressed up as Massacre Girl, too, at our event. It was so cool. Go out and try and rep your guild, like, before you can't do it in Murders in Carlisle
Exactly.
All right, at least one of us won some packs at the event, and we're going to play a game of Pick, Lick, or Flick with one of our Ravnica Remastered packs.
Here we go.
Where we decide if we will pick the card, lick the card, or flick the card. The rules are in the name.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We're going to pick 3 randos from here. We have Merfolk of the Depths. This is a 4 hybrid green blue for a 4/2 flash.
I've got a Conclave Cavalier, which is a great card. Green, white for a 4/4 Centaur Knight with Vigilance. And when it dies, create 2/2/2 green and white Elf Knight creature tokens with Vigilance.
Absolutely absurd.
So good.
Ooh, but we also have Azorius Justiciar. This is 2 white for a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, detain up to 2 target creatures your opponent's control until your next turn. Those creatures can't attack or block, and their activated abilities can't be activated.
Do you remember Detain? How could you forget?
I remember.
I was detained a couple times last night, and I was my opponent was like, because I went to tap it and they're like, no, it's just detained. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. There is no reminder in any way, shape,
Detain
or form
was just like,
that it happened.
it happened. Now remember.
Now remember that it happened until your opponent's next turn. And so I was marking it with dice, but they said, oh, it's not like a stun counter, remember? And I'm like, wow, that just made it so clear in my mind that we have actually fixed detain.
Yes.
And it is now stun counters.
It is now stun counters.
Because it's like, why are you putting that all in my brain? I'm trying to win a game of Magic. Anyway.
All right. This is tough because I am a big fan of both Azorius Justiciar and Conclave Cavalier.
Absolutely.
I think, Merfolk of the Depths.
Yeah, Merfolk of the Depths is getting flicked for sure.
Flicked big time. Ooh, okay.
All right, say this is pack one, pick one, and like these are your choices because
these are my 2 cards.
Like pretend the rest of the pack is just hot Garbo and you have to pick one of those 2. What are you doing? Pack one, pick one.
I mean, I'm picking Conclave Cavalier.
Yeah!
Gotta do it. 4/4 for 4 that with vigilance that creates 2/2s when it dies.
Yes.
That card's absurd.
I am also picking Conclave Cavalier. I don't care. Forcing
Green,
Celestia.
white. I mean, like, yeah, we love it.
We're forcing it. We're going.
And you know what? This Justiciar, they've got a lot, like, they're looking good.
All right.
You lick that card.
Licked.
Nice.
All right. Excellent choices. The next choices, we've got Rubble Belt Maka.
Oh, I remember this guy.
This is a cat, 3 and a red for a 3/3 with Blood Rush, which is a single red mana. Discard Rubble Belt Maka. Target attacking creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn.
That was Gruul's.
Yes.
That was Gruul's thing in the first Ravnica that we played. Here's another one.
Oh, great one.
This card. Boros Elite. Single white for a 1/1 battalion. Whenever Boros Elite and at least 2 other creatures attack, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So
I had an opponent play that against me, and I became quickly terrified.
Ooh, and Etherplasm. 2 blue for an illusion. When it blocks a creature, you may return it to its owner's hand. If you do, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, blocking that creature. So it's a 1/1 for 2 blue. But you have to watch out.
Yeah, it could become
something very different.
Huge. That's cool.
Wow, I kind of love that.
That's a tricksy little card, but you've got to have cards in your deck that you will have in your hand that are big.
That's tough. But it is like the kind of dumb shenanigans that I want to do.
Oh yeah, it's shenanigans.com.
Like maybe we go different directions on this one because I'm picking this and I'm gonna do something. Like I'm gonna try and build around this goofy card.
Okay, great. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Boros Elite.
Of course you are.
I loved Boros. I had a Boros shirt back in the day, in fact, before I really recognized that I should be at Rakdos. And if you play with Boros Elite, you can play cards like Sky Knight Legionnaire, which is a hasty 2/2 flyer for 3.
Oh yeah,
card's incredible.
So good.
So I'm gonna pick the Boros Elite.
Well, Maria, you're in a tough spot because I get to lick this Boros Elite, but now either you have to lick this like ether tentacle situation or this 6-eyed cat. So go for it.
Oh God, I guess I'm gonna lick the cat like its mother. I'm gonna be.
Yeah, I say like that's a normal thing.
Once I saw my sister do it.
No,
she licked the cat when we were kids. Okay, this wasn't yesterday. But I was like, Bridget, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm just bathing it like its mother would. And I was like,
wow,
you are going to get sick and die. Don't. But what you can do is you can take a toothbrush and wet it and use that to pet its head. And apparently that feels like its mom is licking it.
That's cute.
Isn't that cute? So that's what I'm going to do to Rubble Maka. I'm not going to use my human tongue.
Oh.
Sorry, Plasm. You're getting flicked.
All right, we've got Keymaster Rogue, 3 and a blue for a 3/2, can't be blocked. When it enters the battlefield, return a creature you control to its owner's hand.
I'm into it. Love anything that can't be blocked. Oh.
What is it?
Oh boy, everybody. We've got a Godless Shrine.
Wow, Yay! It's so beautiful.
And it's in its antique.
Antique. Nope. We're calling these antique from now on. It's in its antique frame.
It's in antique border. It looks really good.
It does look really good.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And then I've got a Tin Street Dodger here. This is a 1/1 for a single red. Haste, red. It can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with Defender.
Wow.
There you
go. Okay.
Wow. Oh,
So-
this Godless Shrine is really beautiful.
Yeah, you're looking at a cool $37
wow
right now for that bad
All
boy.
right.
Very cool.
Um.
I'm definitely picking the Godless Shrine.
Wow.
I want $37.
Fair enough. Do you know what? I'll make the principled stand.
Okay, principal stand.
And take. Hello, I'm Principal Stand. I'll take the Keymaster Rogue.
Okay,
Again,
yeah,
love me some
I like the
shenanigans.
card's really good. Yeah,
but I'm gonna lick this Godless Shrine
Absolutely,
for sure.
absolutely.
Flick this Dodger.
Yeah, flicking the Dodger. Even though somebody played the Dodger against me, it was the person who was playing
Yeah.
that Goblin deck,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was good enough. The Keymaster Rogue, I love that card. Just getting licked from me, but ooh, nice pull here in this Godless Shrine.
Hello. Thank you. All right, last one. Here we go.
All right.
We've got Disembowel. This is X black for an instant. Destroy target creature with mana value X.
And I've got Morning Thrall, which is 1/1 for you pay 1 in hybrid white black for a Thrall with flying. Whenever Morning Thrall deals damage, you gain that much life.
Oh, and then we've got Goblin Electromancer.
Oh, what a card.
This is blue and a red for a 2/2 instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Maria, you're up first this time.
Jeez, this is tough. I don't really want to pay that for Disembowel. I understand that you might need something like that in the game, but it's just too much money for me. I really kind of felt a pull towards Orzhov in my seat, and maybe that's what I should have done. But I like it because there's Extort in this set.
Yes, Extort, an excellent mechanic.
If you played the Extort deck, you loved it. Which, whenever you cast a spell, you can pay an extra 1, and if you do, it drains your opponent for 1, and you gain a life. So I'm gonna pick Morning Thrall because I just want to try it. I miss it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick this Goblin Electromancer
Cards. That's the right
like I said, I wanted to be Izzet. I wanted to be Izzet. This card is sick.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's great. I don't know if I want to lick somebody called an Electromancer because I might get electrocuted.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
I'm just gonna lick No, I'm not gonna lick a Disembowel. That sounds even worse.
Do you know what? I'm gonna lick the Disembowel after looking at this Thrall. Look, Disembowel. They haven't been disemboweled yet. So you're getting a pre-disembowelment lick in there.
Truly, in life, isn't every lick you give a pre-disembowelment lick? If you really think about it.
No, because that implies that there's going to be a post-disembowelment, and I would rather there not be.
You never know. What are your last 2 cards?
Ooh, we've got another Arboreal Grazer.
Monkey!
I actually have a funny story about this one. It's Orzhov Euthanist. For 2 and a black, it's a 2/2 human assassin. When it enters the battlefield, it has Haunt. When this creature dies, exile it, haunting target creature. When it enters the battlefield or the creature it haunts dies, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. My last round opponent had also like the Orzhov Bat that has gain 2, drain 2, and haunt. And he casts it and he goes, okay, gain 2, drain 2. It has haunt. And he was like, I don't really know how that works. And I was like, me neither. If it comes up, we'll look it up.
Calling Judge Rob. Do.
We got there on haunt, but it was just very funny that we both just had this mutual moment of
haunt.
Who knows? If it happens, then we'll make sure it happens correctly.
Pretty funny named mechanic, I think.
Yeah.
To be like, I'm haunting you. That's humorous to me.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, good pack for you. Good pack.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, nice pull at this Godless Shrine. Feeling good about it.
Well, everybody, that's this episode of Good Luck High Five. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and having a Ravnica Remastered good time.
Oh, what a fun set. I really cannot stress what a lovely time I just had making it out to the LGS and getting a draft in.
Yeah, for sure. It was paper drafting. Can't beat it. Can't beat pod play.
Lovely time.
Can't beat Ravnica.
Lovely opponents. 2 thumbs up, man.
Do you remember at the beginning of the year, I made my prediction, my prediction for everything for each set, and I said Ravnica Remastered was going to be one of the all-time great draft formats.
Oh yeah, you did.
So I don't know if that's true or not yet, but you're all going to have to keep me honest. Was my prediction true? When you go out and play it. So
it sure feels good.
let us know, because I think it was really sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, go to your LGS, check it out, get yourself a box from Card Kingdom. Thank you so much to everybody who helps us create this show every single week. We could absolutely not do it without you.
Really and truly could not.
So please become a patron. Patreon.com/GLHF Magic will give you a pun shout out. You get early access episode release. You get longer episodes, whatever you want. There's a choice for you over on Patreon. So go and check it out. And we'd like to say thank you to everybody who supports us at our highest tier or above, our Patreon producers.
Thank you to Ollie.
Thank you to Gamelandia in Palo Alto.
Thank you to Thomas.
Thank you to Manuel.
Thank you to Christian.
Thanks, Dimitri.
Thanks, Dr. Unks.
Thank you to Matthew and Jenny.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you to Martin.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you to Mark.
Thank you, Chuck.
Hey, Anne, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Kay.
Thanks to Justin.
Thank you, Adam.
And thank you to Rick. So if you want to get a special thank you, become a Patreon producer, and we'll give you a shout out. And thanks once again, of course, to Card Kingdom. If you have any sweet Ravnica Remastered stories, please share them with us. We would love to know how your drafts are going or how your sealed event went, just to help us walk down memory lane just a little bit longer. I'm picturing memory lane lined with lilacs. That's what I want.
It would be nice. It would smell nice.
It would. Everybody who's a Patreon producer, hang around. We've got more episodes for you. Everybody else, have a great week.